It's funny. Sometimes the biggest questions are the ones we see the answer to every single day. We've all asked it, probably since we were kids. Why is the sky blue? Well, it seems so simple, right? But the real answer is this incredible story about light, the air we breathe, and a beautiful trick of physics. So let's break it down. So here's the core mystery we're tackling. And it's really two questions rolled into one. Why is the sky this brilliant blue when the sun is up? But then, why does it turn completely dark at night? The journey to the answer is fascinating, and I promise, by the end of this, you're going to look at the sky, both day and night, in a whole new light. All right, to solve this mystery, we need to know our main characters. There are two key ingredients in the recipe for a blue sky. First, we've got the light coming from our sun, and second, we have the very air that makes up our atmosphere. Okay, ingredient number one, sunlight. Now, it's easy to think of sunlight as just, white or maybe kind of yellow, but that's not the whole story. What we see as white light is actually a whole team of colors, literally all the colors of the rainbow, from red all the way to violet, all traveling together in one beam. And that little fact, it's absolutely crucial. And now for our second ingredient, the atmosphere. We tend to think of the air around us as just empty space, right? But it's not. It's this huge protective blanket of gas packed with countless, and I mean countless, tiny invisible molecules, mostly nitrogen and oxygen. And these little guys, well, they're the secret to the whole shebang. So we've got our ingredients on the table, a whole spectrum of colored light from the sun, and an atmosphere just brimming with tiny molecules. Now for the main event. Let's see what happens when these two finally meet. This is where the magic really begins. Okay. So as that sunlight dives into our atmosphere, it starts crashing into all those gas molecules we just talked about. And these molecules, they act like tiny little pinballs, knocking the light and scattering it in every single direction. Here's the catch, though. They don't scatter all the colors equally. For reasons we're about to get into, they are way, way better at scattering blue light. So when you look up at the sky, what you're actually seeing is all of that scattered blue light coming at you from everywhere at once. So why blue? Why that color specifically? Well, it all comes down to the size of the waves. See, blue light travels in these short, choppy little waves. That makes them the perfect size to get bounced around by those tiny gas molecules in the air. But red light, it travels in longer, lazier waves, so it tends to just cruise right on through the atmosphere without getting scattered nearly as much. And believe it or not, this entire process has a name. It's called Rayleigh scattering, named for the very clever scientist who first figured it all out. So next time you're at a barbecue and someone asks why the sky is blue, you can casually tell them it's all thanks to a neat little bit of physics called Rayleigh scattering. Okay, so that totally explains the daytime sky. But what about at night? What happens then? Well, it turns out the exact same principles are at play. And they're the reason the sky turns dark and gives us a completely different but equally amazing view. Think about it this way. During the day, our side of the Earth is facing the sun. Its light floods our atmosphere, and bam, you get that blue light scattering all over the place. But at night, the Earth has rotated. Our side of the planet is now facing away from the sun. We're literally sitting in the Earth's own shadow, which means there's no direct sunlight hitting the air above our heads. And with no direct sunlight to hit those molecules, there's simply nothing for them to scatter. Our atmosphere, which was a brilliant blue canvas all day, essentially becomes transparent. The air is still there, of course, but without any light to bounce around, we just see right through it into the deep, dark blackness of outer space. And this leads to a really profound way to think about the sky. That blue color we see every day, it isn't really a thing up there. It's an effect, an interaction. And when that effect vanishes, that's when we get to see what's truly out there. So let's do a super quick recap of what we figured out. First, sunlight isn't just white, it's a whole mix of colors. Second, our air is packed with tiny gas molecules. Third, and this is the big one, these molecules are amazing at scattering blue light all over the place. And finally, when the sun's gone, the scattering stops, and our atmosphere becomes a clear window to the vast darkness of space. So I want to leave you with this one last thought. That beautiful, bright blue sky that we all know and love is, in a very real sense, a spectacular illusion. It's a light show put on by our sun and our atmosphere. It's only at night, when that illusion finally fades, that we get to see reality. Our sky becomes a perfect window, letting us look out into the true, deep, and